All right, it is the college show with Smokin JB and Killa Cook, my co-host. We're going to be talking some college football players, some college bowl games, and as well as a college playoff preview. So we're not doing the whole Lions thing because this is separate. We're going to talk a little Lions, of course, because that's what all my viewers are. But that's the game plan for this. Is we just wanted to talk some college football, and Brendan's pretty knowledgeable. For a young guy, he's good at this. Go ahead, Brendan, introduce yourself.
You pretty much already took care of that, JB.
You know what I mean. Talk to the people for a second. I'm going to pull up the college bowl game results, so we got the ones that are done to talk about.
Yeah, did you hear about the K State guys tweeting at the Bama guys who were gonna opt out?
No.
Pretty much Will Anderson and Bryce Young, they were gonna opt out. Was the rumor, and a lot of the K State guys were like, "Dude, we've wanted you guys all damn year," and kept on tweeting at them. And Will said, "Why not run one more?" And then Bryce was like, "Why not?" So it sounds like there's going to be zero opt outs of that game for each team. I'm really hoping they don't start Adrian Martinez. That won't be a good thing, man. Usually quarterbacks help you win games. He helps you lose games. Oh, son of a bitch. That's not going to be good. Give me a second. I just broke shit.
I heard it. All
Oh,
right, finally.
oh. Oh, that ain't going to be good. Ooh,
Well, so far, the two most competitive games that have been out there has been the UAB Blazers versus Miami, Ohio. That was on December 16th, the Bahamas Bowl. That final score was 24-20, and the next one was the same day. The Cure Bowl was Troy versus UTSA, and it was Troy 18, UTSA 12, which is surprising because UTSA actually had a really good team that was competitive against some better FBS teams.
yeah. How did Dwayne McBride do?
Who did he play for? UTSA? Or
UAB.
oh, UAB. I'm pretty sure he had a game. I'm not looking at the actual box scores. I just got a list of all the college games that have been played and the scores that was in them. Then we had the Fenway Bowl, the one played in Boston, where Louisville housed Cincinnati 24-7. The Las Vegas Bowl, where Oregon State trounced Florida 30-3. The Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, which was Fresno State rolling over Washington State. That's another guy I've been paying attention to, is that Jordan Mims. He ran for 210 yards and 2 scores in that game.
Who was that, JB?
Jordan Mims of Fresno State, the Bulldogs.
I don't know if I'm 100% familiar with him or not.
He played in one of the lesser conferences, but he had a great year, and he's actually fast. He's a willing blocker out of the backfield, and he's not bad at running the ball or catching the ball out of the backfield either.
Yeah, well, you know how I am about them small school guys.
You usually love them.
I help you.
The Lending Tree Bowl. Oh, it's James Burgess sends a quote that says, "We didn't block very well today, but we made up for it by not tackling." John McKay from 1979.
You already mentioned that one, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't mention it live.
Oh, okay.
And then Brian Roy, High Smoke. Senior Bowl is still having the invites filled out, so that roster won't be announced till after the week before the national championship, I believe. Because some of that gets based off of who declares and who comes back as a fifth-year senior and stuff like that.
The Senior Bowl?
Yeah, the
Oh,
roster's not out yet, is it? And then we had the Lending Tree Bowl, which is Southern Mississippi over Rice. Oh, my dad comes in and says, "Hey guys, hey dad, thank you for being up. Just talking a little college with Brendan here."
Yeah, I'll be back in a second, man.
Yep, no problem. You had something break. I heard it.
I didn't. I don't. I hope it's not broke. It was my damn.
Oh,
I kicked my table and the damn thing fell over.
oh no. You're not talking about your steering wheel setup.
I am.
Oh God. New Mexico Bowl was quite competitive. You had BYU versus SMU. That was a 1-point game, 24-23. The Frisco Bowl was Boise State versus North Texas. That was 35-32. The Myrtle Beach Bowl, which was Marshall beating UConn. Oh, who doesn't? Everybody beats UConn. 28-14.
Isaiah Land's going to be playing in that Senior Bowl. That
Nice.
Florida A&M
Yeah.
linebacker that I like.
Famous the Idaho Potato Bowl, the one played up on the blue turf, was Eastern Michigan scoring 41 to San Jose State's 27. The Boca Raton Bowl was Toledo over Liberty, 21-19. That was pretty competitive. The New Orleans Bowl had Western Kentucky roll over South Alabama, 44-23. The Armed Forces Bowl was Air Force versus Baylor, and Air Force somehow outlasted them, 30-15. You know, it's funny when Air Force, Army, or Navy, everybody just seems to struggle in these bowl games against the armed forces teams because the way they run that veer or spread offense, the way they do with just doing run and gun.
Yeah, for real.
Independence Bowl was Houston over Louisiana, 23-16. The Gasparilla Bowl, Wake Forest over Missouri, 27-17. And now we're to the ones that haven't played yet. Hallelujah. All right. So that's all the
What
box
was
scores that I have so far, as far as actual scores.
Jamie or JB? What was the Southern Miss game?
Southern Miss. Southern Miss. Was that today?
I don't know. I don't even know if they had a bowl game or not. I
Oh yeah,
thought
Southern Miss over Rice, the Lending Tree Bowl, 38-24.
there's a safety on Southern Miss that I really like.
I'm quite sure he had a game.
Probably. I've sent you a couple things on him. That
Yep.
Jay Stanley guy.
Yeah. Eastern went ape shit. I saw that game. Yeah, Army is putting a guy in the pros this draft. At least it looks that way. The only thing is you got to worry about that whole thing about having doing 2 years of enlistment
I was
after they
told that
graduate.
loud.
That's Andre Carter. I love that guy. He's a DN/linebacker. He's actually good.
Oh, he's good, yeah, but he's strictly a 3-4 guy. I've never seen him line up with his hand in the dirt.
He has he played DN a couple of games this year with his hand in the dirt.
Has he? I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet. I really
but
kept
he's
an eye out for him.
6'7" and 270 pounds. I like that size.
Oh, definitely. The guy's huge.
I like Andre Carter.
He's got noodle legs, though. He needs to
You
build it
know,
for half.
they wouldn't let Caleb Campbell do the deferment. They wouldn't let the guy before that do the deferment. So that's the problem. Is they offer it, but they never give it to him. So if they need to give him the deferment prior to entering the draft, so the guy can have at least the start of an NFL career, and then come back in, say after his enlistment's done, and do that 2 years of whatever he's got to do. Because 4 years at college, most people only do a total of 8 years in the military and then drop out. That's the problem with the deferment. All
Yeah.
right, so that's that. Now the college playoffs. We all know who's in and who's out.
Yeah.
We got Georgia versus Ohio State, who they're damn lucky Caleb Williams got hurt. That's all I got to say.
Huh? Caleb Williams?
Yeah, Ohio State. They're damn lucky that Caleb Williams got hurt and USC sucked in their playoff game. And then it was funny because he was all the hype about the Heisman. And as soon as he got hurt and had a bad game and lost again, they said, "Well, there went his Heisman hopeful. Now let's hope Drake May has a good game." And wasn't even a half hour after that game. Well, Drake May doesn't look good either. Well, let's hope this guy has a good game. They kept saying it, and every time that the guy had a bad game, I was like, "Oh, it looks like it's Caleb Williams to lose at this point."
You
You
gotta
can't
love.
give it to CJ Stroud after that what he showed in the Big Ten championship.
Definitely not.
The guy that should have got it, as far as I'm concerned, is Stetson Bennett.
No.
Compared to everybody else in the
Most
biggest
real,
game,
most.
on their schedule, which was their championship, he was the only one that showed up.
That's fair. But at the same time, he's probably the most replaceable quarterback in the NCAA.
And my dad said, unless you are the admiral, Robinson never had to serve his time in the Navy after graduating from the academy. No, what he did was he never got paid by the Navy for all of those commercials he did. They considered that his deferment. He did a bunch of recruiting commercials for Navy and the armed forces. So they took that in lieu of time, if I remember right, with what they did with David Robinson. But that's the Navy. All the Army guys that have been drafted, there's been 3. That's what they've done is they haven't allowed them to deferment. They'll say, "Oh, it's time for you to go active now." And it could be right after they graduate. It could be 2 to 3 years, but they've always pulled people out of the military, out of the NFL when they did it. Yep. David Robinson did 2 years. They never called him back for the rest of it, but he was drafted in 87 and couldn't play till 89. I don't even know why they say, oh, because those are the big ones. And the big ones left after that, December 30th, is Tennessee versus Clemson, Alabama versus Kansas State, the Fiesta Bowl, and then the night game that night is Georgia versus Ohio State. That's basically another home game for Georgia. I don't see Ohio State winning that because Athens, Georgia is only a 45-minute drive from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a sea of red, and it isn't going to be the good way for OSU.
Definitely not.
It's going to be a sea of red speckled with gray.
You think K State shocks the world?
They could,
I think they do.
because I think like 10 of their players declared for the draft and are not playing, right?
No, there's actually supposed to be no opt outs.
They're supposed to be, but there will be.
Will Anderson won't be. He
He's not
confirmed it.
playing.
No,
Right.
he's playing. He confirmed it.
Right. I said he's already opted out. He's not
No,
playing. That's what
he is playing.
Oh, he is
Yeah,
playing.
he confirmed.
Cool.
Now that could always change, but it was a deleted tweet, so that's what makes me think it could change.
His his agent's probably going, "What the fuck are you doing?
Well,
You
that's
trying to get yourself killed?"
quite a few of Bama players they were going to opt out, and K State had an absolute ass attack and just started tweeting at them nonstop. Saying we've wanted you guys all year. Come on, don't cower out on us. Don't quit. And every competitor ever, when you hear "don't quit," there something just sparks inside of you, and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna quit, man. You know. So, Will
How about
Anderson
that?
should be playing.
In 3 weeks, or no, 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 2 days, we will have a college football national championship.
Yep.
What's your projection? Who will it be in the Natty? Is it going to be Georgia versus Michigan?
God, I don't know. It's Ohio State ain't going. I mean, the probably. As much as I hate to admit it, because I'm not a Michigan guy, probably. I don't see TCU beating Michigan. They could, but I don't
The
see.
only way they're going to beat them is if they actually change the way they play and become a first half team.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Johnson doesn't get going until midway through the second quarter, which is a problem. Max Duggan is doing fine, but they're not scoring in that time from the beginning of the snap till midway through the second quarter, exactly like Michigan does. And if you're playing that type of ball with the way Michigan plays defense in the second half, it's going to be a tight game, but I have Michigan
It,
winning possibly by still 10 points at the end of the game.
it's not even that, in my opinion, JB. I mean, yeah, Michigan's a second half team, but they still know how to score in that first half. Whether it's oh,
Well, it's funny you say that because I actually paid attention to it this year
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
We only had 2 games where we were leading at the half.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they don't.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but TCU is usually like 3 to 7 points that first half, and they can get up to like 14. But yeah, no, both teams are definitely a second half team.
James Burgess +1 at Ken Ballrick. You mean the Pentagon did not use that as an excuse to build super huge subs? Talking
No,
about
now
David
with that
Robinson.
said, with both teams being a second half team, Michigan's definitely the better second half team.
Right, because literally all season they have given up 27 points in the second half
Mm-hmm.
defensively. In TCU, they've had shootouts in the second half
Mm-hmm.
where they've had to barely skate by people. I've
Last
never
week,
seen a team in all my college watching that was like this in the second half in the FBS division. You know what I'm saying? In
mm-hmm.
the Power Fives.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
never been somebody that scores over 100 and holds teams to less than 30 for the whole season. That's just insanely nuts.
Now,
Insanely good.
if it is Georgia versus Michigan in the Natty, I think Georgia takes it. I mean,
I Georgia is an all-around team. The only thing I saw they struggle with is gash plays through the passing. And if McCarthy has a passing day like versus Ohio State, they got a shot.
well, yeah, anything's possible. I mean,
That's the only shot I see. I'm
it,
just being honest because defensively, I think Michigan's the only one that can hold that offense down a little bit.
out of
And I'm
anyone,
not saying they're going to stop them. I'm saying hold them down. There's a
any
big difference there
playoffs, yeah, it is.
because
Now,
I think the Michigan defense is actually overall, especially in the second half, only slightly better than Georgia for one reason. They don't give up the big gash plays. The Georgia defense has given up gash plays in almost every game in the second half. They get gashed either in the run or
Mhm.
they get gashed in the pass. It's one or the other. And Keely Ringo, he's Trayvon Diggs 2.0.
That's being a little too nice. He's like,
No, he's a great interception gambler, but he gets burnt like toast.
is he that good at interceptions though?
No, he's not. I'm just
Exactly.
saying that's why I said 2.0. The clone is never as good as the original.
That's fair. He's Eli Apple mixed with freaking with
Trayvon Diggs with Marcus Peters. All of them combined as a rookie.
the thing that I was saying to Quinn last time I saw him play, I looked straight over to him and I said, "Bro, Ringo is Jalen Ramsey and Jamal Adams without any covering skills."
That's fair.
And I mean, Ramsey and Adams aren't really what you would call lockdown guys, but I mean,
I,
they're not horrible.
I see the Georgia and Ohio State game. It might be close at the end of the first quarter, and then you'll start to watch Georgia dog walk them from the second
It's
quarter on.
it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be the biggest blowout in the playoffs,
It might be the biggest blowout in all the bowl games
possibly.
because Michigan demoralized Ohio State in that second half.
Well, the main thing, JB, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, is CJ Stroud has zero heart. I mean, how big is he? He's what, 6'4", 220 something?
Oh
And you
yeah.
see this guy, he'll be down by 3, and he'll have a wide open lane to the damn end zone. And as soon as that lane starts to close a little bit, he falls down.
Okay. Everything we needed to have happen happened. The Commanders lost to the 49ers. The Giants lost to Minnesota on a 61-yard last-second field goal.
Ooh,
Oh,
I didn't know it happened like that.
yeah.
Oh God, that's got to stand.
Yeah, that might be why Leonard didn't show up. But anyways,
Poor guy. I got to give him hell
love
about
you,
that.
Dan. Love you, Dan. But how about that? The Cowboys beat the Eagles.
Hell yeah. We had everything happen that needed to happen besides one thing.
Yeah, the only thing that didn't happen was the Lions didn't win. But the good thing about it is there's still only a half game out. And
Yep.
if Seahawks and Commanders continue to lose, the Lions get in if they can win out.
Yep.
Am I saying it will happen? No. Can it happen? Yes.
Definitely. It's possible. Yeah. 100.
So everything's still 100% possible, and that's freaking crazy.
And it's not even really like full on Kool-Aid drinking, you know.
No, I said probable or possible, but not probable. That's what I said.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody thought I was nuts when I stuck to my 7 wins.
Yeah.
You did too.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
And lo
definitely.
and behold, where are we at? Where are we at, Killa?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Now, did I expect it to go that way? No, but if you remember when we went over the schedule, we had them at exactly 7-7 coming into this week.
Yeah, I had them at finishing 8 and 9, and then I switched it up to 2 and 15 when we were doing horrible.
I know. I said, "Nah, we're gonna get our 7 wins." You were like, "I don't see it." Well, how are you
Yeah, I was
staying
like,
positive?
nah, there's no way.
And with that Chicago Bears loss today, guess what I get to turn in?
What's that?
My parlay ticket for the NFC North.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's gonna
Thank you, Bills. 753
hell yeah.
on a $50 bet. That
Yeah.
was well worth it.
God dang, you made $703.
Yeah.
That's nice. Very nice.
Well, because it was a 4-way parlay.
Mm-hmm. That's about 5 paychecks.
Understatement of the year from my dad. I know he's trying to be funny, but our run defense was a touch off today.
Yeah, just a tad bit.
A tad bit was if we gave up 150 for the game. We gave up 240 and a half and 300 for the game and on the ground.
Hey, that's definitely not bad, man. You can win doing that, don't you know?
No, yeah. If you're doing it too.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we could only get 52 yards on the ground today.
Yeah.
But we did throw for 335.
Is Jamal okay? That's my biggest question.
We didn't block well for him.
I know, but didn't he get hurt?
I didn't. Everybody was messaging me so much, bitching about everything. I could hardly watch the whole second half.
That's fair. I was one of them.
Including you. Yeah. I was like, fucker, I'm trying to watch a goddamn game. I got to rewatch the game.
I was whining about Goff.
And it wasn't even his fault.
No.
And after I said something about that snap, you went back and watched it again. You said, oh, shit, he's right.
Yeah. Yep. I didn't say anything about the snap.
Oh, it's my buddy George Eichhorn. He writes for the Motor City Tribune and a paper, the Sentinel, I believe, down in Detroit. Lions lucky, even other wild card pretenders lost too. Yeah, I know. I said it. Everything that we needed to have happen to keep them in happened. All we need is Miami to beat Green Bay so they have nothing to play for the next 2 weeks. And it'll be the Jordan Love area because that's when Aaron Rodgers said he'd hang it up for the season. So I'm a Finns fan for a day. Just for a day.
It's better than going for the damn Packers, that's for sure.
Fuck the Packers.
You're frozen.
George, thank you for tuning in. Are you still hearing me though?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're
Okay,
not
good.
frozen right now.
Yeah, the internet's being wonky. It's probably due to the in other news, the Lions did sign a practice squad guy. They brought Steven Montez back. Hopefully they give him a shot because
Yeah.
I've seen some film, and he doesn't look as bad as everybody thought he was.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was gonna say, JB. I don't think he ever got the shot he deserved. I'm happy we brought him back.
Right. He's semi-athletic.
He's freaking huge.
Yeah.
What is
And
he, 6'5",
six
235?
6'5" and 245. He's
God.
huge. All right. So let's talk a little let's talk a little draft profile type stuff.
Oh, I know nothing
I'm
about
I'm gonna stop it.
him.
I'm gonna talk about Miles Murphy, defensive end out of Clemson. I mean, he's had so far a great career for high school and college.
Oh, definitely.
He was the leading edge rusher for the Tigers last year. He
Mm-hmm.
recorded 20 tackles and 11 assists by adding 21 stops. As a pass rusher, he added 20 total pressures, which included 12 QB hurries, 3 QB hits, and 5 sacks on last season. Murphy also can win going speed to power with the leg drive to push blockers back. These are his strengths.
Mm-hmm.
A savvy, versatile, instinctive edge rusher who did a little bit of everything, Murphy was especially effective in getting to the quarterback. He has a lethal spin move and the pure speed to close quickly. Impressive athletic skills made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list at number 3. He wrote the 6'5", 275 junior is viewed by NFL scouts as significantly better player than former Tiger Clellan Ferrell, who went 4th overall in the 2019 draft, reach by Oakland, of course. He also has a vertical jump at 35 inches. He power cleans 335. He can bench press 405 and deadlifts 505 pounds.
Yep, that's where he gets impressive.
And his broad jump is over 10 feet.
The guy's an absolute athlete, JB. I mean, the guy's just good at football. I'm shocked you didn't mention that bend. He's got an outstanding
The
bend.
Actually, he plays tall and gets too upright off the snap, which is why he doesn't blow through. When he does bend, his bend is lethal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying he does both. It's weird. He'll play upright one
Mm-hmm.
play, and then the next play he's like, wow.
He realizes
So
I should have.
after he gets
Oh,
blowed off of the,
yeah,
when
yeah.
he goes too upright and tries to use pure speed instead of his power,
Mm-hmm.
boom.
It's weird watching him because it's like he teaches himself through the play after like a play where he gets shown up. He's like, "Ooh, I did something wrong," and he knows exactly what it was, and he teaches himself through the game. I
Right.
like that about the guy.
He struggles to shed blockers and doesn't show ideal lateral movement skills. He also needs to make better use of his lengthened hands in the pass rush. I'm going right by the weaknesses that I've looked up and I've seen.
Oh, I know.
So stop.
I just don't
He
agree.
remains a bit raw as Murphy is inconsistent. That's it. He doesn't have the violent hand pop he needs
Yeah.
to play with his hand in the dirt. In our system, I see him probably being moved outside linebacker again because he's at that tweener size. He's got enough weight and he's got enough height, but because of the ideal bend situation
Hmm.
intending to play upright until he gets that down, he'll be moved from DN to outside linebacker.
I mean, he's definitely got the speed to do it as well. I mean, the
Right.
guy, damn
The guy
athlete.
runs a 4.5
Yeah.
consistently ever since
Hmm.
high school. I mean, he was 4.52 in high school, and he's ran from 4.49 to 4.52 his entire career at Clemson. I would do my second draft profile, but it was written by a guy who's going back to school, so I can't. There's
Who
no
was
sense
that?
even talking about Grayson McCall,
Ah, okay.
and it's actually better than you think. But yes, his passing percentage is glorified by some checkdowns and screenplays, but that's okay because we have that type of offense. Grayson McCall, if he was coming out in this draft, is actually a perfect guy to back up Goff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of his arm strength, but I mean, it is.
Well, wait a minute. His career long, and it wasn't a run after catch. What's his career long?
I don't know off
Eh,
the top of my head.
Career long on the air is 63 yards.
That's fair.
In the air, I'm talking about air to spot.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not talking about, and think about that. The most quarterbacks are standing anywhere from 5 to 7 yards behind the O line when they throw that. So that literally means it was a 70-yard pass in the air.
yeah,
So his arm strength is actually above average. It's
yeah,
just not elite.
yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna say he's got horrible arm strength. I'm just I don't know. It seems like he would rather lob a football instead of actually just get it there when he needs to.
The problem is he has a big frame. He's not a
Hmm.
small guy. When he throws it, it looks effortless, so it looks like he's not trying.
That's fair.
But he does like to do the drop a dime pass, which
Hmm.
is beautiful when it works. The problem is he doesn't have the receivers to make it work all the time at Coastal Carolina, which is what has led to a lot of his deep center field interceptions.
Hmm. I was reading
I'm I,
comments.
I I'm just oh yeah, I'm looking at the comments too. And he says McCall is in the portal, I think,
Hmm.
to show what he can do. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's why he's trying to go Power 5, and now
Uh,
he's probably gonna end up at Liberty
I was just
playing
about to,
against his old team.
I was just about to ask you, where do you think he'll end up?
He's trying to go to Auburn.
Yeah.
That's where he wants to go because he wants to be in a Power 5.
Hmm.
And James Burgess says he does have some tosses on tape landing more than 40 yards past scrimmage. So far, he wants to go to either Auburn, but he might be going cross conference to let Liberty torch Coastal and make them relevant. I think if he can't leave the conference, he's going to stay in conference and go to a rival and show that he can do the same or better with someone else. He has to do that because right now Liberty still has wide receivers that was brought in to help Malik Willis. So they have the better receiving talent right now. And that makes sense because then he can make use of the talent that was there from when Willis left.
Yeah. How's he doing again?
Who?
Malik Willis.
Oh, he lost his second game as a starter today. To
Yeah, yeah.
what team? The Houston frickin' Texans.
Don't you know we should have drafted him number two?
Yeah, I heard it all the time. I mean, I heard he should have been a Lion
Yeah,
at 2. He should have been a Lion at 12 when we traded up, and he should have been a Lion at 46
yeah.
and maybe even 66, but we didn't do it.
Good.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's
He has all the talent in the world, but he is as raw as a fish you just pulled out of the ocean.
nah, man. He's completely elite. He just got to put it all together, and he'll be fine.
Come on, I was being facetious there.
Oh, I am too. I am too. I was shaking my head no the whole time I was saying it.
Jim James Burgess. He passed for 99 yards. I said more than once it's Tim Boyle with legs.
Yeah,
That's great. I love it. Great analogy,
he's
James.
not even as elite as a runner as everyone said he was either.
No, he doesn't run well. He's a one read and run quarterback that
Man, he
doesn't run well in the NFL.
awful calculated decisions when he touched that ball.
Hmm.
Awful
And
calculated.
he has this tendency to like wear it on his side out there, like Lamar did a couple of times when he would fumble back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just kind of hangs it out for everyone. He does.
Right. It's like, hey, look, here's the ball.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed that. I hate how guys do that. Odo does it too.
And so does Kyler Murray. But
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray tends to keep his body between the defender and the ball,
Mm.
which helps protect it.
And,
That's one thing I will give him credit for
mm-hmm.
is that he tends to know where his body's at.
Mm-hmm. And if he knows he's gonna take a big hit, he tries to tuck that. So, I
So
mean,
starting defensively, what players do you want to talk about, Killa?
I don't have any defensive players on my list right now.
What the hell? Why?
I,
Why?
I don't know, JB.
Yeah, after watching this game today, you're not going to talk defensive players?
I could still
Yeah. Anyone. Give
I'm
me
gonna
some
have to
hope.
I'm
Uh,
gonna have to wing in. I don't really have any notes on
I
them.
mean, there is the best defensive tackle in the draft, Jalen Carter. I could talk about him for hours, and he does have some weaknesses, and
Yeah,
all of them are way better than the weaknesses we have on our
I mean,
defensive interior right now.
I'll just give you my personal opinion on him. He's pretty much he's pretty much Quentin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closest I can get to him. He's pretty much Quentin Williams. Every now and then you'll catch him with an extremely slow get off. But that's pretty much the main reason of him getting gassed. He gets gassed pretty easily. Um, and another thing is he's got really poor balance. He'll go to make a move, and an offensive lineman will put a hand on him, and it'll just fall straight on his face, taking himself out of the play. I mean, the guy is outstanding, but he needs to work on that balance, or else he's going to be very disappointing.
I hear you. I mean, well, the same can be said about Jordan Davis because remember everybody said the same thing about him. He gets gassed easily.
Hmm.
Remember?
Yeah, I mean, he still does.
I mean, but defensive tackles that have to play into the secondary to tackle people usually
Oh,
do.
definitely, yeah. Um,
I tried to explain that to somebody. I was like, "What do you want him to do? Just sit
and
there and watch the guy go by?"
JB. I mean, with all these defensive ends that can play defensive tackle and these defensive tackles who can play defensive ends, there's going to be such a big rotation. It's not really going to hurt if he gets subbed out because he gets gassed. But I mean, when he's in there, it's going to be such a huge help. The guy's just an elite athlete.
Oh, it's Middle Tennessee State versus Hawaii right
He
now.
he's just good at football,
No,
man.
no, this is versus who? Let me see. Well, both teams have been penalized a lot. It's 5 for 50 for Middle Tennessee, and San Diego State has been 7 for 79. And the score is 16-14. Woo! That's a barn burner. And it's in what quarter? The third with 2:39 left. As Mr. Ronald Van Zant
Oh
would put
yeah,
it, he's lean and mean and big and bad. Yep.
that's exactly what I was saying, James. Defensive linemen, they just get rotated more than anything these days, which
Yep.
is why, which is, but we kind of have the depth, and we have the players to where when we rotate, it's not going to kill us. I mean, it didn't show today, but usually it's we.
I think the Lions got caught looking past an opponent with a bad record. That's what it was 100% because so
I
far
Yeah,
we showed up against some really good teams and then we played a bad team and snoozed it.
yeah, I think they got a little overhyped.
Yeah.
They got
All
feeded.
right. We're the
Uh,
hottest team in the country. They're talking about
yep,
us in all the media. We
exactly,
ain't got to do shit today. We're going to
exactly.
win.
The media's finally giving us our damn respect. We're the hottest team in the NFL. Blah blah blah. Went and got absolutely hornswoggled.
You know what that was? This was the gut punch they needed to wake up again.
Yep, it's our wake up call.
I feel
I
sorry
guarantee
for I
you.
feel sorry for whoever's quarterbacking for Chicago.
I guarantee you they will not play like that versus Chicago.
Not in Ford Field either.
Definitely not.
And even if it's a 8-9 season, 9-8, to go from 3-13-1 to what they've done this year is an amazing accomplishment
A
by the coaching
jump,
staff.
huge jump.
And Killa thought I was crazy when I first looked at the roster. And I said, this is a 7-win team.
I did.
Remember at first you thought I was crazy. And then you started looking into who we drafted, the
Yeah,
ones you didn't know, and you were like, oh, yeah, it might be a 7-win team.
yeah. At first, I was like, because I only really knew a couple of them. I mean, obviously, I knew Hutch. Obviously, I knew JMO. I knew of Josh. I thought it was a huge reach at the time. And I wanted Kirby the whole damn time.
Right.
So I was jumping up and down when we got him.
Who was the other one I wanted? After, if we didn't take one there or if it went later,
Who's that?
Sam Weatherford. 6'3", 225-pound safety that could play linebacker. And he's playing linebacker and special teams for Chicago right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colts cut him, and that just shows you how stupid that regime is. But I'm sorry, he made another team.
Well, the Colts GM was pissed when Chicago picked him up,
Oh yeah, because you
and I
know
was like,
why?
"What do you expect?"
He wanted him to clear waivers. I knew that kid wasn't clearing waivers.
Nah,
And
no,
with Chicago being the number 2 overall, they got him right away. Because you know
definitely.
who would have took him if they didn't? The
Oh,
Rams.
the Rams. Oh, okay, damn.
Because right now it's 1-2. There's another team ahead of LA before they play. If they lose again, they're back at 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep, Chicago lost their bonus baby, UDFA Sanborn, too. Yes, they did.
Yeah, that wide receiver you really liked. What he blew out his knee, didn't he?
Yeah, Darnell Mooney.
No,
Oh, what who?
the Isaiah Weston.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, when he did get on the field, he was electric and he was fast.
Oh, he'll be back next year. He'll make
Oh
the
yeah. I think he'll make the team he was on.
definitely the Browns.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this year the Carolina Panthers played Grinchmas for us.
Yeah, you could say that, couldn't you?
Did Fields even play today? Or was it Trevor Simeon's show?
I don't know.
Because he had that bad shoulder and they were
I don't.
talking about sitting him.
Like I
I'm
said,
gonna look it up.
I barely got to watch the Lions game, like the fourth quarter, because I think 2 minutes in the fourth quarter is when the family showed up, and I had to move my grandma in.
James Burgess says, by the way, someone out there played Zylstra at TE in their fantasy league and made enemies. Yeah, especially if you did that in the playoffs because he
Whoever
got
did
you
that was
25 points.
fucking genius.
It was genius. That's 25 points right there, what he did.
Mm, I wasn't.
Easy.
I
All
think.
3 touchdowns went to Zylstra.
Hmm.
What a day. TJ Hawkin, who?
How many did he drop
But
today?
he didn't drop today. He actually had a touchdown pass or two today.
He did not go a full game without dropping a pass.
I didn't say he went with a full game. I didn't watch the game. I couldn't watch the game. I
That's
was
fair.
too busy watching ours and then getting texted.
That's fair. Well, I
Yep.
was just assuming
He
someone would
said
let you drop the pass.
Zylstra had 2 more touchdowns than Hawk had today.
Yeah, well, how many drops did Hawk have? That's what I
Let me
want.
go look at it.
Dude, I'm gonna be shocked when a full
TJ
with no
Hawkins
drops.
who's
Hawk and who? That's
stats today. Uh, he had 2 touchdowns, so he had 1 more. But wait, for the entire season, he's had 4 touchdowns. Zylstra has 5.
Who does?
Zylstra.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how our tight ends have been playing hero these last few games.
You think they wouldn't?
Well, I know that they would, but you expect it to be arm and raw. He's the biggest Pro Bowl snub I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, if I was in the league, I probably wouldn't give a hell about the Pro Bowl.
But you know
Glorify,
what? Hey, there
glorified
is one
flag
one
football
stat that
Sunday.
Hawkinson did for Minnesota. He never did for Detroit.
What's that?
He has a fumble lost.
Hell yeah!
He had no drops today.
Really?
Yep. I just looked on ESPN
What?
stats. He had no drops today.
Man, that's insane.
So he finally had a good one.
Yeah. Well, shit. Good for him, I guess. I don't miss him.
No, I haven't missed him at all.
No. I mean, What's your thoughts on Trenton Simpson, JB?
I like him, and let's say the Rams pick Baker Mayfield somehow does win a game, and it's going to be versus Denver. If he's gonna beat somebody, it'll be Denver.
Yeah,
I'm a Broncos fan for tomorrow. I want to see them lose.
oh yeah.
I'm a Finns and a Broncos fan tomorrow. Broncos country, let's ride instead of I'm dead inside. But if we fall back between 5 and 10, I think Trenton Simpson would be a great pick in that area.
Yeah,
If we're
yeah,
still picking in the top 5, it's got to be either Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, or Miles Murphy.
honestly, man, I think Trenton Simpson will be there around the 20s,
I think he could be too. But
personally.
if we fall back there in that 7 to 10 range, instead of missing out waiting for our pick to happen, which
Yeah,
could be
definitely.
like 16 to 17, I would grab him there because I like him better than Sewell.
As long as Miles Murphy still ain't on the board.
Right. If Miles Murphy's on the board, he should be the pick
Yeah, yeah. If it comes down to both
because
of Murphy, 100%.
but we need an off ball linebacker bad, as
Yeah,
it showed today. Anzalone missed tackles again, but when your defensive tackles don't even slow a guy down, you're gonna miss those tackles because
well,
he's not as fast as Chuba Hubbard or even Donta Foreman.
let me just say one thing. For all these people who want to say this, Trenton Simpson is not Isaiah Simmons. They
No.
are completely different. Yeah, Simpson's damn good in coverage, and yeah, sometimes he drops back as a safety. I mean, you never know where the guy is at. He could be playing in the slot. He could be playing safety. He could be playing linebacker. He could even be on the edge with his hand in the dirt. But he's no Isaiah Simmons. His position is linebacker, and there's no doubt about it. He's an outstanding linebacker. You're giving me a look. What's that for?
No, I was reading the comment.
Oh, okay. Um,
If Trent Simpson it was a movie, it's everywhere all the time, all at once. Guy
Ig-
really fills a huge hole that the Lions need filled.
spot on.
And if we don't take Miles Murphy in the first round, that's why I like Andre Carter in the second round.
If he's able to go.
If he's able to play, yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if you can't get one of those edge rushers in the first round, you grab him in the second.
Yeah, I want to be mad.
Because right now, as it's looking, we're going to be picking somewhere between 51 and the Vikings pick should be, if they bow out in the first round like everybody expects them to do, be around 18 to 20.
Yeah. God, what was I gonna say? I forgot. Oh,
Sorry.
I mean, Simpson and Simmons definitely have their similarities. I mean, they're both what 6'4", 235, 240.
235, 240, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
both run that 4 40.
They're both extremely fast. They both can play safety. They can both play anywhere.
Whereas Isaiah Simmons, the difference with him is he started as a corner, moved to safety, then moved to middle linebacker, then to outside linebacker, all in one season.
Yeah, and the he was never really elite at anything but safety, and he was a damn good linebacker, but he wasn't elite.
By the way, our left guard, the only sack he gave up in all of college was Isaiah Simmons in the playoff.
Yep.
That's with
The difference between Simmons and Simpson though is Simpson is elite no
right.
matter where you put the guy. The guy can play anywhere at an elite level. Now I'm not saying he's gonna
No,
go there and he's gonna be switching positions constantly like Simmons from
you're missing the point. That's what we're getting at. He's played safety as an in the box safety, as a
yeah.
hitter. He hasn't played in coverage.
Hey, Trent definitely has coverage skills.
Not as good as
Are
Simmons
are
though.
they are they safety skills? Hell no.
But
No.
they're fine for a linebacker that's covering a tight end.
Definitely, yeah. He can cover a tight end. I mean, is the guy Isaiah Simmons? No. Isaiah Simmons has outstanding coverage skills and he can tackle like crazy. And that's another thing with Simpson.
Ooh,
Um, he
that's
he had
safety.
he
That's
had a
safety.
tackling problem his first couple
2 years.
years, he was really bad at it. He was top three in missed tackles, but this year he's fixed that. Um, he's actually a very sure tackler now.
The safety from San Diego State, number 31. Who is that?
Who the hell is that?
All I know is he just had a huge sack versus Middle Tennessee.
I don't know who that is. I'm drawing a blank.
He goes, I love how hard Simpson hits. Yeah, I mean, that's why I like him better than Sewell. And
Don't even get me started on Sewell JB. The guy's a second round talent as at best. I would not take the guy unless he's in the third round. I'm gonna say it. The guy is soft. He's an absolute coward. Anyone who's 250 pounds
oh,
and refuses to actually wrap up and smash
wow.
is an absolute coward in my eye.
Interception. Middle Tennessee gets the ball back at the 30. Tip ball at the line, and the linebacker just was on the ground and it fell in his belly. I mean, it couldn't have happened in a weirder way.
Simpson can cover a tight end and like a big body wide receiver. Um, he's not gonna be like Isaiah Simmons and cover them route running speed demons that Simmons can sometimes. He's not really outstanding at it, but he can do it. Versus Simpson, he can't. I mean, he can guard some of the best tight ends in college football, and he can guard like a big body wide receiver. But I mean, he's not gonna go out and guard a route runner like Devontae Adams or anything like that.
All right. Well, I guess I won't be watching that.
Yeah, no, Simpson, man, Simpson is outstanding. I don't know. I can't really say any bad about the guy besides I don't know. It's hard to talk down on the guy. The guy is just so damn good at football.
And Will Vogels comes in and says, I'm a Clemson fan. I
That
really like Simpson.
that's exactly who I was responding to. I really like Miles Murphy too. I really like that other defensive tackle. What the hell is his name? Is it Tyler Davis?
Mm,
That other Clemson defensive tackle. He's like I think he's the 52nd overall prospect on PFN's board.
probably.
Um,
It
he,
sounds familiar.
he's a newer guy I'm looking into. I haven't really looked much into him. No,
I already talked
not
about
Murphy.
Miles Murphy.
It's not Murphy. It's the other one. It's not the top guy. It's the second one. I think it's Tyler Davis.
And then there's Brian Breesy.
Yep. There's Miles Murphy, Brian Breesy. I'm kind of nervous about him and his knee. Um, I would still be okay with taking him, no doubt about it. The guy's always been good at football. Always. There's I don't know. You don't really look at someone and say this man's always been good at football. When you look at Brian, you can flat out say this man has always been good at football. Man, to be honest, Joey is awesome. Don't get me wrong. Porter, he's an outstanding defensive back, but I don't have him at CB1. I
He would be a fine CB2 anywhere. I don't have him as a CB1, but the only problem I have with him is availability. He's had nagging little injuries that's kept him out a game or three every year. If that
yeah.
happens in college, it's going to happen in pros.
Well, not even that, JB. I think you misunderstood what I'm saying there. I don't have him as CB1 in the draft.
Oh, I
Yeah.
his ball skills are amazing.
Oh,
He
definitely.
does
Well,
as far
don't
as
get me
ball skills, he's the
wrong.
best ball skills corner out there as far as I'm concerned.
I would disagree with that respectfully. I think the best ball skill corner in the draft is Emmanuel Forbes.
I this-
I also have him as CB1. Shockingly, I have him one, Porter two, Witherspoon three, and then Cam Smith and
Ringo.
no, I don't remember who else. I can't remember off the top of my head. Here, I'll read you my list. Uh,
And James Georgia says I watched all but 2 PSU games this year, and Joey is a baller.
oh, definitely.
And he
I have
says
it.
Forbes I haven't seen much of.
I have it. Forbes, Porter, Clark Phillips, Cam Smith, and Devin Witherspoon.
Fair enough.
Let me just tell you a little bit about Forbes. Here in 1 second, my camera's gonna go off for a minute. Jeremy, can you still hear me?
Yep.
What about now?
Yep.
All right, I've got a little bit of notes on Forbes. I was gonna cover it. Um, I mean, in 3 years in the SEC, and in my opinion, it's one of the hardest conferences in the NCAA. The guy has got 14 interceptions and six touchdowns. I mean, he's a
Nice.
tackling machine as well. I mean, he's got 143 tackles, 88 of them are solo, 6.5 for a loss. I mean, he's even got a sack, 19 passes defended. I mean, the guy's just a ball hawk, and he's never really cherry picking his interceptions either. The guy's just a lockdown. The guy is so good. I mean, anyone in the SEC who can get 14 interceptions and six pick sixes is damn good at football.
Nice. And James Borges says all ears. Thanks, Killa.
Yeah, of course, man.
Well, we're approaching that time when I should say something about my sponsors because if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be doing this show. A1 Tire and Auto Repair and TNT Auto Sales on Old Cullin and Cullin, Bay City store on Broadway, and the Saginaw store where I work on Genesee Street. Great used tires at a great price, and check out those used cars at TNT Auto Sales too. There's some nice ones, especially if you're looking for a gas saver. That Ford C-Max is what it's called. It's a hybrid, 88 miles to the gallon on the average.
What the hell? I'm a Ford guy, and I didn't even know that. You guys are selling cars now?
Yeah, we got a car lot at our Cullin store.
Are you gonna be doing that, or are you just gonna stick to what you're
Um,
doing?
I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try to get into the car sales because there's more money to be made.
That's what I'm
You know,
trying to.
one car sale. Guess what? I just made a month worth of salary doing tires.
Yeah,
That being said, the other one is Mad Lab Custom Creation. That's Dan Leonard's love child, where he creates some awesome masterpieces that you can be had for at a relatively cheap price by getting in a break and taking a roll of the dice. It's like sitting at the roulette table. You never know. You might win something nice. I've got a Jay Jetta. I've got an Amon Ross St. Brown. I've got a James Robinson. I got a Darius Leonard. I've got quite a
that
few. And Darius Leonard's gone back up, but the reason why it's not worth as much now is because he changed his name again. That fucking prick.
Dan does outstanding work, dude. Holy shit, his quality is top notch.
He says, "I'll take a 73 Grand Prix cherry red with the 455, of course. Thanks, JB." Anybody would take anything with a 455 pre 1975. Because after 1975, if you got a 455 in it, 9 times out of 10, it's too big for the engine compartment and has overheating issues, unless it's a truck.
Yeah. Um.
Uh, That's why the W31 for the Hurst Olds had two models, the W30 with the 350 rocket and the W31 with the 455 rocket. After the 79 version, when they did do the W31, it was never sold again because in that smaller engine compartment, they couldn't keep it cool. Me and a buddy figured it out. We Freon intercooled it.
There's a couple more people I want to talk about here in a little bit, Jeremy.
Oh, go right ahead.
I've got a couple small school guys. If anyone knows anything about me, I'm a small school guy at heart. I love the FCS. And God, I wish the damn Bobcats won in a shit the bed versus South Dakota State. And the main reason we did is because of this guy right here, Isaiah Davis. I mean, the guy's an absolute freaking powerhouse. The guy's one of the most aggressive runners I've ever watched run the damn football. I mean, he don't really sound like a powerhouse at 6'1", 220, 225. But I mean, the guy's insane. He started that playoff game with 8 carries for 108 and a touchdown. I mean, he's not the fastest guy, but one on one, no one's tackling him. Um, and the Bobcats finally figured that out. Every time they looked at him, he had 5 guys surrounding him. And shit, dude, he'd still even break free from that. I mean, he finished that game 16 carries for 158 and one touchdown. Season wise, he had 227 for um 1,348 and 14 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. He's only got one career wise in I think 3 years. It could be 4 years. Um, I mean, his pros, he's got that elite size speed combo. He don't really have the speed, but he's not slow. Um, that's the main thing. He's got an outstanding first step. Uh, that first step in his acceleration is extremely nice, but afterwards he kind of falls on his face. He don't have that extra gear. Um, I mean, his IQ is insane, and like I said, he runs so aggressive. He is extremely hard to bring down. He's got really good vision as well. His cons is he gets overconfident in running people over. He'll go straight at the biggest guy on the field and just get absolutely hammered sometimes. Sometimes he'll run straight through him. He would rather try to run over someone instead of cut for the extra yards and pick up that first down. And his hands are kind of 50-50. He don't have sure hands, but he ain't got brick hands. Um, but other than that, he's an outstanding sleeper guy you want to keep an eye out on. I have him going probably around 6th or 7th round. He could creep up into the 5th. He could even creep up even higher. It just depends on if he gets an invite to the scouting combine or not.
Cool. I'm looking up Jordan Mims stats for Fresno State for you right now
Okay.
because I
Um.
wanted to because I watched that bowl game he was in versus
Yeah.
Washington State. He had 261 attempts for 1,370 yards and 18 touchdowns in the regular season with a 5.2 yard average per carry. In his career there, this was his first year as a starter. So that's the only year he's going to have those big ones. Last year as a backup, he had 710 yards with 5.6 yards per carry and 6 touchdowns. So he knows how to find the house.
Mm-hmm.
He only had let's see, 21 receptions on 23 targets, but 126 yards and 6 yards per average with a tutty this year. Last year he had 25 targets or 25 receptions on 28 targets, 324 yards, 13 average, and 4 tutties. So he's a 5th year senior, so he is coming out. But his longs each year, it was 26 this year, 78 last year. In 2020, it was 23. And in 2018, it was 55. And he was a redshirt freshman, but had to come in because somebody got hurt. As a freshman in 2017, he had 151 attempts for 627 yards, 4.2 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns with a long of 24. This year, his long one was 82 yards. The kid's got speed, he's got talent. He has never lost a fumble.
Yeah. Same with Isaiah Davis. I forgot to point that out. His fumble was recovered by him and ran in for damn near a touchdown.
No, he's never fumbled at all.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And we're talking about his career average It's actually pretty good. 4.7 yards per carry
Oh yeah,
and 0 fumbles. I'm just wow.
yeah, JB. I mean, he sounds pretty good. I haven't really looked much into him.
He's 6
Per
foot and 205. So at 6 foot, he's a little on the light. He is exactly 22 and was turning 23. So he must have graduated at 17 to be a fifth year.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
pulled a me. He pulled a me.
yeah. In all honesty, Jeremy, I don't think there's I don't think there's a more impressive late round guy than Dwayne McBride. If we're gonna be talking running backs,
Right. And I'm going to look up his stats for us right now. I mean, you
the
probably
guy
have some of them, but
so impressive. I actually don't have any of them written down. I know he's never averaged under 6.7 yards a carry, I believe, unless these last few games when he was playing with that broken foot affected that. Um, yeah, if you want to go ahead and look up them stats, I don't know them off the top of my head. I know
I'm bringing them up right now.
I know he had like 1,700 rushing yards this season, I believe.
So he's 1 inch shorter and 10 yards heavier than Jordan Mims. But he had 233 attempts for 1,713 yards. He only had one more touchdown than what Jordan Mims has. So he has 19.
19.
Yep. I'm looking directly at his stats right now. I'm going to bring
Mhm.
up the full career just so I can look at it. He has been a 3-year starter. He's had 400. Ooh, he's been a workhorse back.
Yeah,
That's
quite a bit.
he's got a lot of miles on him. He's had almost 500 touches in 3 years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whereas Jordan, see, this is one of the things I was talking to people about. I love them that they're a workhorse back, but the problem is you're only going to get 3 years out of them in the NFL tops. Because
Mhm.
when you've had 500 carries like that, it usually bodes well in the pros because they get broke down and they get wore down.
You could say the same about Nick Chubb. He had a hell of a lot of carries too.
Yep. And look, okay, a year ago it was Derrick Henry with all the injuries. This year it's been Jordan Taylor. Guess whose turn it is now?
Mm.
You watch. Nick Chubb will be injury plagued next year. It won't be a season ending, but he's going to miss at least 6 games. Book
Okay.
it.
Yeah, that's honestly my biggest con on McBride is I mean, he's kind of overused, but
Big
you can't.
time. Hey, I'm not negating his talent.
Yeah, yeah.
His
Oh, yeah.
his
I
first
know that
year when he
definitely.
came in late in the year to sub in for somebody who was hurt, he had 47 carries for 439 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Who was that?
9 point McBride.
Oh, okay.
The next year in 2021, that was the COVID year. In
Mhm.
2021, which means they only played 6 games. That's why it was his first year as a starter.
Mhm.
Never mind, I get that now. But last year was 204 carries, 6.7 yards average, 1,371 yards, 13 touchdowns. What I like about Mims is that he was a backup to mid-range starter. He actually has 100 less carries in 5 years than he has in 3.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
So when you look at the wear and tear on a running back, that's huge.
Yeah, another guy I want to bring up. I mean, he's kind of on the small size. I don't know if he's fully going to be coming out this year or not. Keaton Mitchell. Um, what school is he from?
I'm looking it up now.
I can't remember. But the guy's an absolute speedster.
He can't come out this year. He's a sophomore, not even a red shirt.
He's a 3-year sophomore.
He can't come out this year. He's not
Yeah,
draft eligible till his junior year.
no.
No,
He's
because for everybody, the COVID year didn't count. That's why you got all these 5th and 6th year guys right now.
there's other 3-year sophomores coming out this year. I believe he is eligible, JB.
Yeah, he's 5'9" and 184. But again, in 3 years, he's got more carries than Dwayne McBride.
The guy runs 23 miles an hour.
I know. And he's accomplished as a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
9.7 yards per touch out of the backyard with 58 receptions, 565 yards. 73 is his career long.
Or, I mean, he doesn't quite run 23 miles an hour. It's more like 22.8, but close enough. Um, I've got two more people to talk about, Jeremy.
Do you need
I,
stats up on him?
what's that?
Do you need
Oh,
stats
no,
up on him when we get there?
I've got them written down.
Oh, you got Lindsey Scott Jr.?
No, maybe. Um, yeah, I've got Lindsey and I got Elijah Higgins. Um, honestly, I'm gonna be the first to say, I'm honestly more impressed with Bryce Wheaton than I am Elijah Higgins. But you can't hate on Elijah Higgins. I mean, the guy's 6'3", 240. His production wasn't that outstanding this year. Or really in general. Um, JB, you want to look up them stats? Actually, I
I just asked you because I was going to check on something else.
I'm
That's why I asked.
if I've got it correct, he's got 59 receptions for 704 yards and 2 touchdowns. I believe that's this year. Um, Obviously, pros is his elite size for a wide receiver. He's got really good route running for that size as well.
Okay. Now let me get back into Google now.
Yeah, yeah.
Bastard. What's the name?
Elijah Higgins from Stanford. Um, he's got outstanding balance and he's got elite ball. No, what was I gonna say? Body control. Yeah, and surprisingly, at 6'3", 240, he's the second fastest guy on the team. I was a little shocked when I heard that. Um,
6'3". They got him listed at 234, but either way,
yeah.
receptions this year was 59 receptions, 704 yards, and only 2 touchdowns.
Yep. Okay.
Last year he had 44 catches for 502 yards, 4 tutties. In 2020, it was 15 for 176. He's
Hmm.
averaged about 11.7 yards per reception his career.
Yeah, it's pretty much just kind of a big bully type of guy. Well, like I was saying,
Wide
he's
receiver?
yep. He's the second fastest on that team. Um, I mean, obviously he's got strong hands and he's an elite blocker. Um, I mean, he honestly he would rather try to catch it over someone and bully someone instead of trying to create separation because he can run routes at a very good level, but he chooses not to, which results in a couple big hits, resulting in a couple drops.
Yeah, the guy I like is a fifth year guy. Fifth year junior.
Yeah, who's that?
You've talked to me about him. Number 0 from the West Virginia Mountaineers, Bryce
We
Ford Wheaton.
Yep, he's my favorite. That guy's so damn good.
He's had 12 catches in 2019 for 201 yards, a 16.8 yard average with 2 tutties. In 2020, 27 yards, 416, 15.4 average, 3 tutties. 2021, 42, 575, 13.7 average, and 3 tutties. This year, 62, 675 yards, 10.9, 7 tutties with the long of 67.
And he's the best graded contested catch guy in the draft.
And they got him listed at 6'3 and 224.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get back to this comment James had about the running backs. Yeah, actually, there is one guy that I do want to go after. I want to go after James Robinson. I mean, they what he had 1,300 yards on a one win Jags team and a not so good offensive line.
Oh, wait. Let's talk about that. The one win they got was against the Lions. his rookie year.
Yep. The guy's good in my opinion. I just don't think he's that good of a fit on the Jets.
I don't
Um,
think he's that good of a fit with the Lions either.
really. Why is
Looking
this?
at because for some reason we tend not to use those guys right. Look at Swift, look at Kerryon Johnson, and he's been in and out of the lineup the last couple of years. He's missed games due to injury as well as being held out due to other reasons, like Urban Meyer's an idiot. But
Yeah, I mean that's all respectable, but personally, I like the guy.
I like the guy, but I just don't think he's a fit for the team.
I think he would be outstanding behind that offensive line.
I think any running back would be outstanding, and I'd prefer rookies.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Me as well. I'm just answering
He's
the
going to be
question.
looking to be paid because Jacksonville wasn't going to pay him, and they traded him away for next to nothing while still under rookie contract. He was what, a second round pick, maybe a third?
He went undrafted, didn't he?
No, he was drafted.
No, that was Philip Lindsay who went undrafted.
Right. He's going to be
Yeah, yeah.
looking for his payday because this was the fourth year of his rookie deal, right? He's going to be
I
looking for his payday.
I don't know if he's completely worth a huge payday. I would
Right.
say
That's the problem. That's just like Tony Pollard. The reason why Dallas won't be able to keep him is that they can't afford another $20 million running back.
definitely worth the bag.
Pollard?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's worth the bag, but
Um.
we don't have the money to give anybody
No,
a bag this year. Next year, we
no.
got the bag money.
If the price is right, you gotta bring in Robinson. In my opinion, if the price is right.
I don't see any of the running backs on our roster staying. Justin Jackson has not been as reliable as everybody thought he would be. Craig Reynolds is hurt a lot. Then you got Jamal Williams, who became fumble prone this season, and DeAndre Swift is injury prone. You don't have a solid running back. I say draft two this draft if you can. If not, you take one and UDFA three.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, man. I
If you could get the best of both worlds right now, the two that I draft and you can get them both probably in the fifth round is Eric Gray from Oklahoma and Roshan Johnson.
I was gonna say something similar. I was gonna say Eric Gray, and hope that the carries bite Dwayne in the butt and he falls undrafted.
He may because of where he came out of.
Mm-hmm. He's only projected like a seventh round guy.
Hmm.
I don't think I would draft two, Jeremy. I think I would draft one and either
And UDFA three. That way
pick up.
you got four
Yeah,
running backs on the roster.
yep, hit up UDFA like crazy. There's another guy I want to mention since we're talking about undrafted guys. Now the chance of him going undrafted is kind of slim. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's Brevin Spanford or something like that. Um,
Wide receiver, right?
no, tight end.
Okay.
Um, everyone's drooling
I
all.
don't with the way our tight ends have played,
Oh, I definitely don't think
I
they
don't
need.
think we're drafting a tight end this year. I think we're sticking to defense, and I think we
Like
need
I
two
said,
defensive tackles. We need at least one off-ball linebacker to pair up with Rodrigo
yep,
because Derek Barnes is developing well, but he's still not starter quality.
yep.
Rodrigo is starter quality. He had one minor injury that kept him out.
Which wasn't even his fault.
No, it was because he got hurt by his own guy.
Jeff
Wasn't
Okuda.
it? Wasn't Jeff Okuda and Derek Burns that collided with him in
I
that play, if I remember right?
Kirby.
Was it Kirby? Okay,
I believe so.
that's like the third player Kirby's collided with and injured this
Yeah, yeah,
year.
he's kind of bad at that.
He's got
But let me finish.
he plays a little bit like Louis Delmas. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Let me finish what I was saying. Now I don't. I wouldn't draft this guy. Um, it's only if he goes undrafted. But everyone's drooling over Darnell Washington. Mainly because of the size and the blocking ability. Brevin Spanford is exactly the same size, 6'7", 6'7", 270 pounds, and he's not as good as a blocker, but he's not bad. But he's a even better receiver. So I mean, the guy is 6'7", 270, and he's an absolute hybrid tight end. I mean, you bring that in as an undrafted guy for Goff, and that's huge, man. But the last guy I've got on my notes, Jeremy, you already know all about him because I won't shut up talking to you about the guy.
Lindsey Scott Jr.,
Yes, Lindsey Scott from
the
Eli.
Montana State Bobcats.
He did not beat the Bobcats. South Dakota State beat the damn Bobcats.
I know. I didn't say he beat them. I
Well,
said that school, Montana State.
yeah. Oh no, he's not. He's not a Montana State guy.
Oh,
He's an Incarnate Word guy.
that's that weird college school we were talking about. That's a Christian school.
Yep. Out of Texas.
Yeah.
The guy's size. I mean, he's kind of on the short side. He's listed at 5'11", but he looks more like 6 foot if you really look at him. I'm not really gonna argue with it. He's small, right? But I mean, he's 215, so it's not like he's small framed. Um, and the guy's extremely good. This year alone, he threw for 4,686 passing yards, and he had 712 rushing yards with 71 total touchdowns. 60 of those were passing, and only 8 interceptions, 0 fumbles. He did not have a single fumble on the year. So he had 71 touchdowns with only 8 turnovers. That's pretty damn good. His pros is he's got elite arm strength, not just for his size, but in general. I've seen the guy throw a 70-yard pass on the dot, and it wasn't, floating. It was flying through the damn air. Ball security. I mean, anyone who can throw for 60 touchdowns and 8 interceptions has pretty dang good ball security. Earlier on in his career, he kind of struggled with ball security a little bit. Um, I don't know his career high. Um, I don't think he's ever had more interceptions than he has touchdowns. Um, and I mean, he's extremely mobile, but he's not a runner. Um, Last year he had to be a runner before he got to Incarnate Ward. I think he ran for like 1,500 yards. But that was because every time he dropped back, he was getting absolutely demolished. So I mean, he pretty much just dropped back and ran. He got smart. Um, his decision making it's good unless he's playing from behind. That's another thing about him. The guy doesn't play from behind. If you get behind with him, you're losing that game. He starts believing in his arm a little too much when he's playing from behind. If it's like 14 points, it's fine. But if it's any more than like 14 points, he starts to worry and he tries playing hero. And then he starts believing in his arm too much. Which is the main reason they're not in the championship. He was playing North Dakota State University in the Fargo Dome, and I
He
don't
threw
care.
for 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions.
Yep, I don't care what anyone says. The Fargo Dome's the hardest place in the FCS to play. I mean, they're
That
playing.
being said, I'm looking at his career stats. His completions were 613 out of 937. He had a 65.4 completion percentage, 8,414 yards, 9 yards per pass, 94 touchdowns, 26 interceptions with a long of 83.
Yeah. Um, like I was saying, he believes in his arm way too much. If he's playing from behind, like versus North Dakota State, he had about a minute 30, I want to say, left and 3 timeouts. He rolled out of the pocket, and I don't think he was aware of how much time he had left. Um, he should have tucked that thing down and ran. He could have gotten at least 20, but instead he decided that he wanted to believe in that arm and throw it over everyone. Ended up throwing the game sealing interception. So if he's playing from behind, he believes in his arm too much. He does not win from behind more than 14 points. Um, and I mean his age. He's a 24-year-old rookie, or he will be 24 when it comes to draft night. So I mean, yeah, his age is a concern, but the guy will more than likely go undrafted. He might be a seventh round pick. So I mean, it's not a huge deal in my opinion. But I mean, he's kind of an older rookie, but he would be an outstanding backup with outstanding potential to maybe end up being a starter for any team that doesn't really have a great starter. Um, the guy's just good at football. That's pretty much all I have to say about that.
My only problem with him is the same problem I had with Kyler Murray and all those guys. He's 5'11 and 212. And whenever they're under 6 foot and barely over 200, 9 times out of 10, they're 5'11 and 200.
Look at the pictures of him. He looks about 6 foot and 215.
Of course they do. Of course they do. Because they're in pads and a helmet.
Man, I'm telling you, when he gets that official weigh in, he's gonna be around 220. He's gonna be about 6 foot 220.
That's the case so often with big arm guys. It works so often going through the levels that they can occasionally be hard to coach. The arm has always worked. Think Jeff George and etc. Guys that's had big arms and just weren't
Yeah,
coachable.
but that's the thing. When he's playing from ahead, he makes way better calculated decisions. He'll tuck that thing down and he'll run it. I mean, he had 11 rushing touchdowns and 700 yards this season. Last season, I think he had like 1,300 rushing yards. Um, you want to go ahead and double check that, JB?
What's that?
Um, you want to go ahead and double check Lindsey Scott's rushing yards from last year? I know this year.
This year was 700. Last year was just under 1,000.
Was it? When did he
Yep.
have that 1,300 yard season?
That was 2 years ago. His
Okay,
first
yeah.
year, where he
So I
did
mean,
more running than passing.
yeah. Well, when he was at Nichols, man, or whatever damn school that is, every time he dropped back, he had three people in his face. So it was drop back and go. Um, he's not a runner. He's a passer, and he knows that, but he can run. Personally, I see him being a Jalen Hurts type of quarterback. Now, I'm not saying he's that good. Obviously, he's not. Um,
This year, he was a smarter runner for Incarnate Word because he carried the ball less but scored more.
exactly.
Last year, with Nichols, it was 990 rushing yards. And the year before that, at Nichols, it was 92 carries for 557. If you're he To me, if a quarterback has to carry it that much, that's too much. You don't want him to have to carry it that much. If he has to, I get it, but he shouldn't have to, especially if he's behind a decent O line.
Yeah, no, he definitely had to at that school, man. People said if he didn't transfer, he was going to be killed. That's how bad it was.
Do you know he was actually recruited by LSU?
Yep,
He went there and never got a chance.
he was there when Joe Burrow was there.
That's not true. Jalen Hurts was a rusher when he was at Alabama before he transferred. He transferred because he couldn't beat out Tua after Tua
Yeah, yeah,
won the national
yeah. No,
championship.
Hurts has always been a rusher, stating all the way back to high school.
Yep.
Um, he's never been a running quarterback, but he's always been good at running the football.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing with Lindsey Scott. That's what I'm meaning. Yeah, they would most definitely rather pass the football, but they make outstanding calculated decisions when they have to pull it down and run. And that's the thing I like about Scott is he don't get hit a lot. And
Right. But that's because they had better blockers, and also their receivers would block downfield.
Yep.
See, we only got a couple of receivers that like to block, but we got a lot of receivers that like to hit. And they finally got, and one of them that has hit a lot all season finally got caught today.
Yep. Another thing I was gonna say, Jeremy, is I don't know if you saw that video, um, that I sent you of Lindsey Scott's pass,
Oh
but
yeah, I mean it was beautiful, but
the guy was falling backwards while jumping to the left and threw the son of a bitch 50 yards straight to his man. I mean, people were saying Patrick Mahomes couldn't even do that. Bullshit. Patrick Mahomes can do that easily.
hey, Patrick Mahomes does a lot of stuff.
But, I mean,
That's all I got to say.
those are probably the only two who can do that, Patrick Mahomes and Scott.
You revisit that 2017 draft right now, and if there's anybody that says they wouldn't have take Pat Mahomes first overall, they're on crack.
Definitely.
I'd
And
say I think it should be what Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, whoever else, then Mitch Trubisky.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's the order they should have been
I have
drafted.
I have Lindsey Scott, the quarterback of Jalen Hurts, with the arm IQ of Patrick Mahomes. Now, I'm not saying he's that good. Obviously, he is nowhere near it, but he shows flashes of the both of them. Like when you watch him, it looks like you're watching a mixture of both, just nowhere near as good.
Sorry, just trying to fix while I got an extra day off these dry, cracked hands from doing tires and being in chemicals all day.
That's fair, man.
It's
God,
bad.
I remember how sore and cracked up my hands would get when I was working at Gibson. That was
Yeah,
awful.
woodworking dries out your hands just as much as tires. They are a very dry compound. You know, wood is natural, but rubber is
Hmm.
such a dry compound. It literally sucks the moisture. I mean, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. So let
One
me get it
second.
there. You see that? All that little black shit embedded in my skin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Unless I peel the skin back, it doesn't come out. That is rubber fibers
Yeah,
embedded
that.
in my skin.
How many viewers you got right now, JB? I can't see.
I've got two right now.
Oh,
So it
nice.
looks like we got James Burgess and somebody else is hanging out in the background, not commenting.
You know, I wish Dan was in here. I'd ask him how great of a game Kenny Galladay had. I'm
Did
only
you
saying that because if it's Dan in the background, he'll comment now.
right, Mr. Leonard? How good did your 19 million dollar receiver do today?
Yeah, greatest contract in NFL history. Definitely worth the money. Man,
Let's
I
see,
thought
2 seasons, 5 catches.
you
Woo!
were retarded for not wanting to re-sign him. If I'm being honest,
You thought I
I,
was what?
I thought you were idiotic
I know you did. You fought
with
me on it,
the
and then
R word.
yeah, you called me retarded.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
and then,
you started paying attention to his stats, and you were like,
yeah.
"Wow, you were right."
Well, before that, like a day before we decided we weren't going to resign him, I was looking into it and I was like, it's a risk, but I still want to do it. And I'm happy you talked some damn sense into my dumb ass.
Romeo was the smarter resigning that year.
Yeah, and honestly,
Unfortunately, it just that unlucky Minnesota game, that one took out a lot of players.
man, I'm honestly shocked that he hasn't really looked rusty since returning.
I think it's because he actually let himself fully heal before he returned.
Yeah, but you and I both thought he was going to be extremely rusty coming
Oh
back.
yeah, you know what? But it was limited
I
snaps.
think
They didn't
everyone.
overwork him. They didn't overwork him today either.
No,
They're
definitely
they're
not.
keeping his snap count low, which allows him to play with a higher motor. If they were using him on every down, yes, he'd look rusty.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah. No doubt
But
about
the
it.
nice thing is we have the depth where we don't have to. His brother's finally healthy. I mean, everybody's like, "Why was Austin Bryant scratched today?" I was like, to make room for Romeo."
Hmm.
And,
Um,
and why was Brocker scratched? I said, because he's a bump on the D line.
Why didn't we use JMO today when we were struggling?
I don't know. I don't know if I think that's who JC Horn was covering most of the day.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I know for a fact that one time that it was a bad pass, but he was under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I excuse bad passes under pressure for any quarterback because pressure changes the way you
Besides
throw the
freaking
ball.
arms, because it don't affect him at all.
Right. Well, yeah, that's not true because if you look at Pat
I
Mahomes,
not. It seems like it doesn't,
it
but
seems
it
like it. But if you
obviously
look,
does.
every single one of his interceptions on center field is when he's under pressure.
Oh yeah, I know.
That being said, was there some bad passes? Yes. Was there pressure when they happened? At times. Was there a couple where there was just nobody open and he had to throw it to get rid of the ball because the pressure was collapsing in? Yes.
Yeah.
But overall, today's game, Jared Goff, he was not great, but he was not bad at all. He was good. He was a good QB today. He made a lot of smart decisions.
Yeah. You think Caleb Williams hits that 100 touchdown mark?
He could if he can stay healthy, but once you get one injury at that position as a semi-mobile athletic quarterback, you
Yeah.
usually get another one.
He needs 40, I believe, in
He
order
needs
to.
40. He could do it. He could
Yep.
do it. Will he do it?
40.
It depends on who they pick up because Joshua Addison already declared for the draft.
Yep. Jordan Addison.
Or Jordan, Joshua, whatever. The only thing I loved about him is Keaton Slovis transferred from USC to Pitt to play with him a day after Jordan Addison says, "Fuck this, I'm going to USC."
Yeah.
And James Burgess said Goff did his job well today.
Yeah.
He did. I mean,
Yeah.
smart decisions. He was dropping dimes downfield.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't even fight with it. They were in the air, downfield, over 25 yards, right in receivers' hands. I think there was two that was dropped.
Can we talk about something else besides Goff actually playing
Yeah,
decent?
yeah, I know. I know you hate hearing it. You hate hearing it because you don't like him.
No. Hey, I mean he's not a bad quarterback in all honesty, man. But he's not elite. And in
And I'm
my
not saying he's elite. I
in my
know nowhere have I ever said he was elite.
oh no, definitely not.
And you don't even have to mention who has.
I think he's average at best. I
He's
think he,
average. When he's good, he's really good. When he's bad, he's really bad. But he's average to above average. That's what I see most of the time. He's going to give you 2 to 3 bad games and 2 to 3 great games and a whole bunch of good games in between.
in my opinion,
Is that
he's
fair assessment?
oh yeah, definitely. In my opinion, he's an average quarterback surrounded by great talent that makes him look elite sometimes.
I just said exactly what I think of Goff.
Yeah.
I think he is somewhere between 12 and 18 every year. If he has good talent around him.
The guy can't win on the road though.
That's not
I
true. That's
I
not true.
already talked about.
Stop. He just had 3 wins on the road.
Yeah, yeah.
He's had
Okay.
3 out of 7 on the road, and 4 of those games, or no, 3 of
Rephrase
those
that.
losses, he had none of his weapons healthy.
Let me rephrase that, JB. He falls on his face on the road.
You can't say that. He didn't fall on his face today. The defense did.
Well, yeah, but
He had a great game in a losing effort.
that's true.
So you can't pin this on Goff. Stop
Oh,
pinning.
I'm not.
Stop. Yes, you did. He goes,
No,
he loses on the road. You just said that.
I
I'm
didn't say he lost this game on the road.
No, but you said he loses on the road, and it's
He
not
does.
true. But it's not true. When this team was healthy and playing well, and you got to admit, every QB plays better when their team plays better.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
If the defense is failing, does the QB always look good? No. As a matter of fact, most QBs look bad even when their defense is good
And yeah,
sometimes.
I know 300 rushing yards is hard to beat, but same with 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions on the road. That's hard to win with.
But wait. When's the last time he threw an interception on the road?
Yeah, I don't know, like 7 games ago.
Like, no, it was further back than that because it was before the whole winning process started.
8 games.
8 games ago. You want to know what game it was?
I don't know.
Dallas game.
Was it?
That was the last time he threw a pick on the road.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a pick. And they didn't review it. Remember?
Who
Trayvon
dropped?
Diggs. It hit
Yeah.
the ground before he got it.
Yep. Yeah.
It
That
wasn't a pick that game.
that man is so overhyped.
I know. What has he done lately? Not much. He's hurt. Ha
Is he?
Yeah, he got hurt last week.
Yeah. Dude, my dad was the biggest freaking Cowboys fan in the world.
I know. I
If you
just I just
if
wanted to point it out. The last time he threw a pick on the road was then.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I hate on the guy too damn much. Probably because
You
everyone loves the fucking guy.
I don't love the guy. I'm just saying what he is. He's an average quarterback. I've it's
Oh yeah.
average to above average quarterback is all he'll ever be. But that's all you need if your team is good.
I think he has the potential to hit the good level.
I think he has too because McVay gave up coaching on him the second year because his girlfriend was texting him pictures in her nightie.
Eh,
Had nothing to do with the fact of what the joke meme said about him wanting to pipe McVay's girlfriend. It had to do with the fact that he looked on her Instagram and Jared Goff's on there and saved in the chat was every single picture of her in lingerie and swimwear.
Shane McVay's girlfriend. Do you blame Jared Goff?
I don't blame Jared Goff. I blame his
That's all.
girlfriend, but he got jealous.
Oh, I
So
know.
he stopped coaching him. You look
Yeah.
at the way the play calling was in 2018 and the way it was in 2019 and 20, it was two different play callings.
Yeah. No, I mean, in all
And
honesty,
I don't know. I think Stafford might have winked at his girlfriend at the Super Bowl ceremony because he changed the play calling with Stafford too.
yeah, I don't know. In all honesty,
Come on, that's funny.
oh, it definitely is. But in all honesty, I think Jared Goff has the potential to hit that above average, possibly good category. But
I've seen more above average this year than last year.
oh yeah, he's having an outstanding fucking year this year.
Okay. This is a great question by James. One of Goff's popularity problems is that he's boring. How many active starting QBs would you trade him for?
Really close.
You would not. Stop it.
Definitely would.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, but then I would trade him back. Um, there's several. I mean, are we talking realistic trades or are we talking
We're talking
fantasy?
realistically, who, not fantasy, realistically, how many active starters would you trade him for?
I don't think any team would want to take him.
Would you trade him for Russell Wilson?
Fuck. Who
Okay.
would?
Okay. Would you trade him for Sam Darnold?
No.
Would you take him for Baker?
No.
Would you take him for Jimmy G?
No.
Would you take him for Brock Purdy?
Yeah, definitely.
You bastard. I
Man's the
didn't think
goat.
you'd say it.
100.
Would you take him for Zach Wilson?
I would trade Jared Goff in the number 4 overall pick for Purdy. No, the fuck I wanted.
No, you wouldn't. Would you trade him for Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah.
As bad as Zach Wilson has looked.
Yeah.
No,
I would.
I would not.
I'd cry afterwards.
Would you trade him for? Would you trade him for Matt Ryan?
You're funny.
The only active QB that's having a bad year I'd trade him for is Tom Brady.
I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He's having a bad year because the O-line sucks. You put him behind this O-line, he'd be a king. He could sit on a
Well,
throne and just
man,
beep.
I don't even know if I would blame it on the damn offensive line. How many drops has Mike Heaven had?
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both.
Dude, for someone who's had nonstop 1,000-yard years to just come out and drop
Mike Evans been underwhelming.
all these freaking passes when he's supposed to be Mr. Reliable of the NFL is just shocking.
Guess who else was eliminated from playoff contention today?
Who's that?
Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, fuck him. I would trade Goff for Deshaun Watson.
I would not.
I'm kidding, Jeremy. Come on.
Okay. I was hoping you were, but
I would trade Goff for Jacoby.
you're high.
No, I'm sober. Just super tired and feel like.
Okay. Feel like giving me shit? Okay.
Yeah.
You'd probably trade him for Eugene Cyril Smiths too.
No, I definitely would trade him for Zach Wilson.
You would trade him? Oh, because he's young and coachable? Possibly. Possibly.
I'd probably cry afterwards if it didn't work out.
I know it wouldn't work out because so far Zach Wilson looks like a B word.
Yeah, but
I
I
mean,
don't.
look at Justin Fields. Justin Fields actually looks legit. He just doesn't
That's
have a team.
that's someone I would trade Goff for in a heartbeat and wouldn't even think twice about it.
As much as I hate to say it, the only reason why I call him Bustin' Fields is exactly what happened. He got killed in that game and hurt his shoulder. I
Well, I mean,
said that would happen this year. Did I not call it before the
oh
end of the
yeah,
year?
yeah, you did. But let me say something real quick. He has wide receivers who can't create
And
separation.
here we go.
What do you expect him to
Zach
do?
Wilson is 2 years away from becoming even viable, much less Sunday ready. And now, if they're willing to move on from him and
Zach
take
Wilson is fucking go.
the only thing he's great, the only thing he's the goat about is his tagline: throwing bombs and banging moms.
Hell yeah, that's why I want him, dude. My brother is friends
They
with.
back Fields down from running today. I hope they did. Did he play? Fields played. It wasn't Trevor Siemian.
Man, my sister-in-law's best friend is. Whoo, god dang.
Hot.
Zach Wilson would be drooling.
How old is she?
27.
No, that's too young for him.
Hey, she ain't too young for me. She's damn good looking.
Right.
But
Yeah, he played, but his running was way down. Yeah, because they don't want him dead.
yeah.
And I don't blame them. It's time to protect their investment. At this point, their season is over. They've already lost 11 games.
Goff is a less lucky Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins has been so lucky lately.
And that's what I mean. A less lucky Kirk Cousins.
He just wasn't lucky against us.
Yeah. The whole damn team wasn't, besides Justin Jefferson.
Hey, and I told you that was probably the game plan.
Yeah.
Don't leave Okuda on him. Let him have his. Just stop him from getting in the end zone, and we can win.
Yeah. Your exact words was if Jefferson eats, it's fine as long as Cook doesn't eat with him.
Right, and that's what we did.
Yep.
We sacrificed all that yards and just stopped them from scoring.
If
It
they
was
were
a great game.
a long day.
And James Ritter says, hell yeah, I'd sit Fields. That guy gets hurt, they're screwed. Absolutely. He already has a bum shoulder, and it affected his passing today.
Yeah.
I saw it. I mean, in the little bit of recaps I'd seen in the commercial breaks, he didn't look good throwing the ball. Not like he usually does. It wasn't as fluid. If you can't have that fluidity, you can't pass properly. You can't pass properly, you're not going to run properly. You can't do any of that properly, you're going to get hurt if you go outside the pocket.
Hey, JB.
Yeah.
Do you know of any Lions fans Who wants male coffee guy?
Will Levis?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Oh God.
That's
I'm gonna.
okay. I don't want anybody in the first round. I don't
I'm
want
gonna
anybody in the second round.
drafts
The
Will.
earliest I'd even consider drafting a quarterback this draft is probably fifth round.
I would do it a little sooner than that, possibly, depending on who's on the board.
Not me. I mean,
That's
like if Will Levis fell to the third round, maybe.
if Brad Holmes drafts Will Levis, I'm losing every last bit of trust I have in the guy.
You know what he is? He's Jared Goff.
He's what?
He's Jared Goff
Will is?
with a bigger arm.
And a gross fuck.
Well, it's that time of night. I need to get off here.
Yeah.
I had fun talking football.
Let me mention one more thing real quick. You
Okay.
said if Will is there in the third round, if Anthony Richardson is there in the second or
There ain't
third,
no way he's lasting to the
I'm
third
jumping
round.
all over it.
There ain't no way he's lasting to the third round.
I said second or third.
I don't want him in the second. I don't want a QB before round 3. I actually don't want one before round 5.
Yeah. I mean DTR
Which
is gonna.
we need starters on
Oh,
defense.
definitely.
So I don't
DTR
want.
jumping up that draft board with everyone else going back to college. Jaden Daniels is returning.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Dennis Leary, he's thinking about returning too.
yeah, that tight end running back, he returned that bell.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody that was in the mid rounds that we kind of said, well, if they're here or that they're there, they kind of all went back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why? Because
Yeah.
next year there's only 2 good quarterbacks coming out. So all these mid-level guys going back to school and learning another year is going to help them become better quarterbacks.
2 good quarterbacks. You're a little off, bud.
There's only 2 good quarterbacks. The ones that everybody talks about is what I'm talking about that are going to be in the draft next year.
There will be about 3 or 4
total by the
Yeah.
end of the year, but there's only 2 that everybody's talking about right now.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams and Drake May.
And Quinn Ewers.
Who? Oh, yeah, I forgot he went back.
Well, he
But
wasn't even.
oh, he wasn't eligible. Okay.
No.
But Quinn Ewers, that big injury he had, if he gets another big injury, his career's over.
Yeah, I mean, the guy has potential, but he can't put it together.
But anyways, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching on the Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B channel. This is the College Playoff and Draft Outlook with Smokin JB and Killa. Tune in next month where we'll do more draft profiles than anything and talk about the national championship at that time. Have a great day. Try every day to be a better person you were the day before, and you'll make the world a better place.
Merry Christmas, guys. Have a good one.
Merry Christmas.